Today, we are bringing you into what we call kitchen conversations. And so it's just what we kind of do after we eat. You know, we love to cook. And our kids come in and they kind of jump in and do what they're doing right now. But anyway, we like to kind of, once we've cleaned up, we like to sit down and just have a conversation.
Wait, did you hear how he said once we've cleaned up? I think that's worth repeating. Because some people just feel like, it's just, the woman's.
It's the woman's job. Ain't that right? No, it's not.
It's not.
My mom raised me to if you're in the kitchen, if y'all are cooking, get your butt in there and clean these dishes if you need to clean the dishes or sweep. No, I love a clean house, and I don't think it's my wife's responsibility to clean our house and put a shirt on.
I appreciate that. You take pride in our home. Not just pride in it, but you also take personal responsibility in it.
Yeah.
I think that's a big deal because I don't know how other people's houses work because I've never been married before. But I do love and appreciate the fact that you take just as much as pride in our home being.
Just as much as pride?
Just as much pride. Y'all heard me.
I'm so dope,
y'all.
Heard me the first time. I'm telling y'all, I'm so dope. I'm really dope.
So when he does that, I stop paying the compliment because there's no need to go forward.
Listen, there are areas. I'm not if you know anything about me, I'm not an arrogant person at all. That's not a part of my. That's
yes,
not who
you
I am.
are. I'm gonna tell you.
I'm going there. I'm going there. There's a lot of things that you wouldn't know, but I don't whatever.
He's got one area that's prideful in, and that is in packing his clothes for a trip. Okay,
so listen. We have traveled the world, been very blessed to do that, and we've toured for been on the road for almost 20 years. And here's one thing: I refuse to check luggage.
Yeah.
I will go from here to Asia and do a tour in a carry-on in my backpack. And guess what?
A duffel bag and a backpack.
And I'm good.
For 2 weeks.
Now here's the thing. I know where everything is, and I always say if I need it, there's always a Walmart or a mall that I can kind of buy some stuff, right? Now, so when I pack, I know where everything is. I got these packing cubes. We're going to send y'all, I want to put maybe a link in the description or whatever.
I love those bags. So e-bags.
E-bags. Got them from Amazon, super cheap. I will tell you, if you travel, get those. I put all my clothes, everything inside of that, and it's so neat and perfect. And so I pack the night before. I don't wake up the next morning when we're flying out to do that. Some people do that, and I ain't going to say who it is. I ain't gonna say it over here. The person over here with the very nice shirt. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that alone. So, what she'll do is as I pack and I go to sleep, I wake up the next morning, get ready to go, and I notice that my bag is much bigger.
It's bulging.
It's bulging and all. I'm like, I don't do that. I'll unzip that joker. There's a heating pad in there. There's shoes. I'm putting her dirty shoes in my bag. That doesn't, you still shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that.
Whatever.
But that's a pet peeve of mine because.
I'm if you don't want me to check a bag, if I have extra things, they're going in your bag. I think that's fair. So otherwise, I threaten you and I'm like, oh no, I'm going to check this bag. And you'll be mad.
So we all have pet peeves and that really irks me, man. And I will pull her stuff out. And I will set it on the chair in our closet. And I'm not going to do that because you are disrespecting the man of God.
Then he rolls it up like he wants it to be, and then he puts it back in the bag because he ain't crazy.
No, I do that. But we all have pet peeves. We've been married 16 years.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of marriage. You begin to make certain concessions.
Yeah.
Compromise. What's the pet peeve of yours that you want to share? She really does.
No,
you talking about self-righteous? No, she's not. She's a very compassionate, beautiful woman that just loves God and loves everything, loves Jesus. And
compromise is important, though, in marriage because, we both came from total different backgrounds.
Yeah.
How I was raised, while we had some similarities, in the home, things were somewhat different, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, compromise is huge. I don't know that we would have made it if we would not have gotten, a handle on why it's important and then actually being able to live that thing out.
No, you're right.
I would have been gone.
Hey, do you remember? All right, true story. This joint would have been a wrap. Jay, you would have made it. We sitting in our little house in Apex. I never forget.
Our first home together.
She's just sitting there crying at the table, y'all. And she
I probably
said,
had Jaden, so I was probably a little hormonal. Was I pregnant or was he there already?
I don't know. There was no excuse for what you said. See, you see what she's doing? She's trying to find an excuse for what she said to me. So she breaks down. We hadn't been married long, so Jaden couldn't have been born. No, he hadn't been born.
Okay, I was probably pregnant though.
And maybe there's no excuse for it. He was just mean. Okay, he was just mean.
It wasn't mean.
She looks at me and she's crying. She's sitting at the table. She's crying.
Why did you
and then she said,
that voice?
She said, "But I'm not happy." I got real mad.
But I wasn't. But I also learned.
I got real mad, y'all.
Come back.
Okay.
I also learned though that my
first year marriage is hard.
Well, that's true. We almost killed each other. We almost didn't make it.
Didn't make it. Never would have made it.
Give him glory. No, but I also did learn, even while that day I said, I'm just not happy because marriage and merging two lives together.
It's so hard.
And committing to each other and trying to find common ground and being willing to compromise when you're used to having it your way. I'm used to doing it my way. We're both very independent people. Yeah. But I said I wasn't happy, but it took some time. But I realized that my personal happiness is not your responsibility.
It's not my responsibility.
And you realize that your personal happiness is not my responsibility.
That's so important, in relationships, because sometimes we go into them and we make the other person feel like that's weight that no other person should have to live up under. Now here's the thing. It's not my responsibility. Your happiness is not solely my responsibility. Right. I play a part in it.
You sure do.
But if I am unhappy with me, and there is some stuff that's kind of going on up underneath my surface that I haven't worked through, it's so wrong to try to make your spouse or your significant other kind of pay. They can't pay that. Yeah. And so we kind of got that revelation very, very early. I know you're not happy. I don't think a whole lot of people are happy in that first year because once you come home from your honeymoon, you got to realize you dated the representative. You didn't meet the real person. You dated the representative, the best part of that person. Her hair was always together.
And the toilet seat was always down.
Yeah. You know
were
what
ready
I'm saying?
For that, weren't
you? Yeah. Okay.
I done fell in so many times.
Listen, man.
No, but it's true. It's so true. I'm going to ask you this question because, we understand we do premarital counseling at our church for couples.
I'm doing bad, y'all. No, I'm playing.
No,
that'd be great.
It's really one of our most favorite things.
Absolutely love it, man.
One of our favorite ways to serve our community, and our members and church family. Mm-hmm. So I do love that. Yeah, and we had a little bit of premarital, right? Bishop, shout out to Bishop Andrew Merritt.
Bishop Merritt, straight gay. Love you, man.
And to Uncle Tommy, he did a session with us. But so I know that we should do premarital because that really does help, right? But what do you think about individual counseling before you get to premarital? Because you said something about there are some things maybe we haven't worked out as individuals, and then we bring that into the marriage. And chances are, if I would have, or maybe you had some maybe individual counseling prior to premarital
to work through your own stuff.
Yeah, there's some ownership
to work through your own stuff. I mean, because it's I think we have this misconception that I bring my 50, you bring your 50, and we have 100.
It don't work like that.
No, it don't work like that. It's I need to bring my 100, and you need to bring your 100, and then we need to have 200.
You better bring
because you bring your best. And taking that ownership to really just kind of work through, your issues. That's why I've been raised in church. She was raised in church. And so we are we understand the power of prayer, the power of faith, and all of those amazing, things. But I also understand the power of therapy. The ability to kind of sit down with someone and say, this is where I'm at.
But doesn't it seem like we're just now, because we were raised in church,
catching up to it.
We're just now catching up to the point where it's not taboo to say, yes, I have a therapist. Yes, I go to counseling. Yeah. Yes, I have a psychiatrist, whatever it is. I think we're just getting to the point, I would say, where we're hearing that more freely, and people aren't attaching shame to that.
Oh yeah, man, that shame thing is it is taboo. My dad always said this. He says, he's the kind of, he's the thinker, but he says, Chris, if there's something wrong with your body, you can go to the doctor and they're going to give you medicine for it. Yeah. If you have a headache, you're going to take, Advil or aspirin or whatever, and you're going to take a pill for it or whatever. He says, but when it comes to what's going on in your head, we act like it doesn't exist. We want to just completely just pray about it. I believe it's both and. I believe in the power of prayer. I'm going to say that again. I believe in the power of touching and agreeing. Yeah. Me and my wife saying, hey, you know what? This is kind of where I'm at. Let's touch and agree. Let's pray about it. But I also believe in, if I need to sit down and talk with somebody, because there's some stuff that I have suppressed or I've kind of just pushed down because I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't know how to deal with. Right. I think it's great to use the avenue of therapy to kind of unpack that. And so back to marriage, that first year, I was coming with things that I hadn't unpacked. Mm-hmm. She had things that she hadn't unpacked. So and when you brought all of that together, and once we came back from...
We landed in the kitchen. I'm not happy.
And I'm like, well, it ain't my fault. I'm helping you with the dishes. So it's it's work, and but
you literally though, you get out of it what you put in. Yeah. Like, this whole fairy tale situation, it's not true. Things don't just happen the way that you imagine in your head as a kid or whatever, as a young woman or as a young man. No, what we have learned, and some of it the hard way, but I wouldn't take nothing for the journey, is that you get out of it what you put in it.
Yeah, that is an equation that, 1 + 1 will always equal 2. You're going to have to put something into it. Your spouse or your significant other is going to have to put something into it. Yeah. And as a result of that, you build the life that you want, or that God has purpose, planned, and designed for you to have. That does not negate that you're going to have to do some work. Yeah. You're going to have to work on yourself. Yes. And that's huge. And so that's something that we haven't mastered. Listen, 16 years in, there are some things that I'm still I suck at. I'm not so great at. There's some things she's never going to acknowledge it.
Yeah,
there's
some things that say I suck. I'm not going to say that. No.
I'm going to say it. You suck at saying you're sorry. This is how she apologized. All right.
Oh, we don't have time for that today. Okay. That's a whole nother.
All right. You got to tune into next week.
Conversation.
You got to tune into the next kitchen conversation because I'm gonna tell you how she apologizes. It's whack. Well, absolutely.
Come back later for that. Yeah. I will say though, I think it's also important, like we're saying, do the individual work. Mm-hmm. Period in your life, whether you have a significant other or not, do the individual work. Prepare yourself. Be in the best shape that you can be in mentally, emotionally. Don't wait on nobody. Financially, get yourself in order. Yeah. All those different places. Spiritually, be ready. But then we did premarital. But even after we got married, I went back to counseling. Yeah. Even by myself.
I sent her back to counseling. She had to go. You need to go finish working some stuff out.
Get out.
She don't want to talk about
this whole episode about to just.
It's about to go off the rails. It's about to
go off the rails.
No, listen. So what we do is
continue having conversation.
Continue having conversation. And so this is what we're doing. We're kind of bringing into our world. We're not perfect. We are imperfect people. But we're
trying to figure it out.
We're trying to figure it out. If anybody tells you that they figured it out, they're lying. But we want to invite you into our life, into this journey where we are just trying to be the best we can for each other. And so this is Kitchen Conversations. And we got so many other things that we just want to talk about. I'm excited about. We're going to kind of just be raw. It ain't super produced. It's just going to be where we is. And
we hope you enjoyed it.
Hope you enjoyed it.
And we hope you come back.
All right. She's not going to be packing my bag anymore. Okay. Peace.